Hey, it's Oats here with a new Mercenary video. This time we are going to be covering a recently buffed out Mercenary, which is Yrel. I've been wanting to do something with Holy for quite a while, and I actually just now finished getting her maxed out, so I figured this would be the best opportunity to do so. And it is actually quite shocking how well this build actually turned out, because there is the possibility within this build to do 1,000+ damage in a single turn. To do this insane combo, you are going to be using the Golden Monkey, Yrel's third ability, Wrath of the Lightbound, and Velen's Blessing in order to duplicate your Wrath of the Lightbound. We'll say though, this combo will actually just kill Elise and the Golden Monkey, but it is absolutely hilarious to me that I was even able to do this amount of damage in a single turn in Hearthstone's Mercenary PVP, because this is way overkill for anything you actually need to do, and the highest damage output that I've ever seen any possible build that I put out before. One other thing before we get into the Mercenary by Mercenary Breakdown, I did try out Uther as a way to just make this team 90% holy. However, Uther doesn't scale up real well right now, and his damage output is incredibly low. Reno allows you to actually have an additional way to scale up your damage, both Elise and Tirion on the starting line, though you do usually want Tirion to die first. And because Elise's equipment actually allows you to scale up Reno Jackson, you have a much better time than using something like Uther. Now for the Mercenary by Mercenary Breakdown, the first Mercenary on the team, of course, is Reno Jackson, which for his equipment we're using Treasure Inspector as a way to have some additional damage whenever he does die. And for the most part, you are going to be swapping between Dazzling Flexin, and that's my treasure. However, that my treasure doesn't always come up. You can use it in theory to keep him alive for additional turn, but Dazzling Flexin is usually just way better, especially if they are a bunch of casters on the enemy team. Elise is the second Mercenary on the team. We are using her to get the Golden Monkey out, so we're mainly going to be using her quest for the Golden Monkey each individual steps. There are times where you're going to want to use Guiding Path, and for equipment we are using Oasis Canteen to scale up her and Reno while they are both alive, and also allow us to make them a little bit more tanky each individual turn. Tirion is the next Mercenary on the team. We are using Ashbringer as his equipment, another really good death rattle equipment when it comes to this team. For the most part, you are going to be using all three of his abilities, but Judgment of Humility lets you snipe the attack of something like Trigor on a given turn if he stays alive for an additional turn, and Divine Assault also allows you to give Divine Shield to all your mercenaries if it does get a death blow on whatever you're targeting. However, Blessing of the Kings can actually save one of your mercenaries by giving it Divine Shield, and this could always be very useful if you are one step away from completing the Golden Monkey, or you just want Reno to stay alive for an additional turn. Yrel is the fourth Mercenary on the team. For her equipment, I am using Librum of Wisdom, which gives you 2 holy damage and 2 healing power at the end of the turn if you use 2 or more holy abilities, which means even if Elise is alive, you should always be able to scale this up. Though you don't always bring her in fourth, it really just depends on what your opponent's mercenaries are going to be, and you're going to be mainly swapping between Vindictive Fury and Wrath of the Lightbound when it comes to her abilities. Radiant Light does come up here and there, but it isn't actually that necessary for the most part. Velen is our next Mercenary on the team. We are using Tome of Inspiration, and we are mainly swapping between Velen's Blessing and Holy Blast as his abilities. And finally, we have Anduin, who is the good old classic for a holy base team. We are using Ring of Purity as his equipment to make him a little bit more tanky every time you heal up, and you are going to be swapping between Penance and Holy Nova for his 2 abilities on each and every other turn. With that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time for an even split when it comes to our opponent. Let's see what we actually get here. Oh, this build. This is actually going to be really annoying. However, we do have the Reno to steal the heals from the snake each individual turn. So we might actually just make this a long game. Yeah, just going to steal it here. And then try to attack into the snake. This is honestly one of the most annoying builds to play against, just because it isn't the easiest to figure out what you have to do with any build that you are trying to win against it with. Like, it's doable, it's just annoying. Great. Flexin. And Beast hits Reno. Patience is going to make it go up. Going to do some damage there. They do prevent or taunt each individual turn, which sucks, but it is fine, I guess. They're going to try to actually focus down Reno, which probably is a good idea if I was in their shoes, because we're just going to keep stealing the heal. We're also going to try to use the Judgment of Humility on the snake. I think that's a little bit of a mistake by doing so. Divine Assault probably would be better, just because it's always going to be... we could try to focus down Lady Anacondra. Getting Lady Anacondra dead is probably the best solution. Then we can just let the bleed tick here, because we'll just keep on healing up. They'll keep attacking into our Reno. Just keep on stealing that heal. Use Guiding Path, because I don't really care if the snake hits us. You can also use Blessing of the Kings here to protect the Reno, just because it'll be a little bit funny. I don't really care if their mercenaries are getting really big. As long as we can kill the snake in a few turns, we should be in a really good winning position. Okay, that's 22 damage that it just took, and then it's going to take 10 there from the bleed. Use Flexing again. Try to use the boulder on the snake, and then attack into Lady Anacondra. We probably should have attacked into the snake right there, to be honest, but oh well. Some more heals. Snake's going to get bigger. Yeah, we could have actually had lethal. That would have been nice. Oh well. We do have lethal there, at least on the snake. We can actually combo the third ability of Reno with the Golden Monkey, which should randomly one-shot one of their mercenaries. I don't really care which one it does. Cho is probably the one that we would prefer. Okay, that's going to hit there. We get the Golden Monkey out. We're going to use Snake Bite. Another thing is, this Reno Death Rattle actually doesn't scale with your Golden Monkey, which is a little bit sad. At least it didn't in the testing that I did. Maybe there are some conditions where it does, but for the most part it doesn't. Okay, what do we want to do? Oh, going for Yu'lon technically makes sense, but I don't think that's going to work. And I'm pretty sure I catch this, because N'Zoth can actually steal our minion. And I think we should be able to one-shot N'Zoth if we do it like this. And then just heal up to heal. Oh, no, we can buff up everything too. Because Flexin isn't going to kill N'Zoth, but it gets pretty low. Then we can use Judgment to kill it. And then we should be in a winning position. See what I meant by the Death Rattle doesn't scale? Kind of sad, but it is what it is. And at this point, I think our opponent is just going to give up. And we're going to win the game here. Yep. Okay, so it looks like they're mainly casters, which doesn't really tell me much of what it possibly could be. It probably could be Shadow, if I had to guess. Could be something else too. Okay, so it is Shadow, with Trigor as the starting lineup. A little bit annoying, but we can still focus down Trigor here. Just going to use Dazzling Flexin, use Elise's Golden Monkey step, and then use the Divine Assault on Tirion. They're going to hit into our Tirion. It's going to be at 1 HP. Reno is going to be taking the blunt force of everything. Then our Tirion dies right there. And now that we're going to put down a Anduin, because I think this will still put us in lethal range of their Trigor, which is the main thing we're worried about right here. And the nice thing is Reno Jackson actually will die before Anduin gets hit, which is going to be really nice, because then it just eats up a Valeera shot, and we might actually be able to kill both Trigor and Valeera in the exact same turn. Okay. So we're going to use Penance, and then Dazzling Flexen, and the AoE Bleed on Elise. That's going to kill our Reno, which is fine. We're also going to freeze their Trigor. And there goes our AoE. We kill Trigor here. We almost killed the Valeera, but sadly we don't. We're going to put down Velen next because then we can combo with him. I think Anduin is going to get hit big here, but he should be able to heal up quite a bit too, so that's going to be pretty nice. Okay, just going to use Velen's Blessing, heal up a bit because there's only one attack, and we are technically slower than the attacker. There's Curse of Weakness. I'm assuming the bench is probably going to be Sylvanas and maybe Cookie. Okay, so Anduin does die here. That's technically fine just because of the fact that we do have Yrel. And we can actually use Yrel to double attack the Vol'jin, I think. Because we don't want to double attack the Zakis, because once you actually kill a mercenary, Velen's Blessing will not trigger for a second time. I found that out the hard way. Going to use the Lightbound, and then we are going... Actually, no, we're going to attack here, I think, with Vindicator's Fury on Vol'jin, and then use Bleeding Light. Probably should have swapped the order of the Elise and Velen right there, but oh well. Okay, they'll summon 3 adds. That's fine. I'm assuming the last one is going to be Sylvanas. It has to be Sylvanas, right? Okay, so that'll hit there. That will actually kill the Kazakis. And we actually do manage to kill the Asmon too. So all we have to deal with is whatever's on bench. Ah, Sinestra. Well, we're going to try to duplicate the Wrath of the Lightbound, and that should kill Sinestra here because we do have the Golden Monkey. And we're going to do a bunch of damage that just one-shots it in one hit, and one-shots our own mercenaries, but we still get the spell damage anyways. Okay, so they are mainly casters. That doesn't really give me any information what this is going to be this time. Makes me wonder if it's going to be old gods, because that is a possibility, I guess. Oh, it is. Okay. Now, what are we going to want to do here? The Yasharaj is probably going to put up the taunt this turn. Then we can embark. We can use Dazzling Flexen on Yogg, because they're probably going to make themselves attack. I don't know actually how this is going to work by doing this, to be honest. Okay, Mine Yoggle. That will hit into the Reno and our Elise. Hit the Yasharaj. And now what do we want to do here? We do technically have 2 speed 2s, so we in theory, or 3, we in theory should be able to actually win this speed tie. Unless the Elise ability doesn't count as a 2 because it is a different speed each individual step, which is a huge possibility, and I think that was the possibility when I did this game. We're going to try to one-shot the Tentacle of N'Zoth just so we don't have to deal with it. Okay, we do win the speed tie there, but then we lose it halfway through, which is a little bit annoying. Elise does die. We do kill the Yasharaj. Also kill the Maestra, killing the Tentacle, or the Spawn, I should say. Okay, now what do we want to do? We can put down Velen and Yrel. I think this should allow us to duplicate the Wrath of the Lightbound this turn. Dog goes back down. Jin comes down too. I'm going to protect Yrel. Probably should have actually attacked or protected Velen instead. But it is what it is. Okay, they do a little bit of damage there. Curse of Weakness. Won't be enough to actually stop us. And now we're going to do a bunch of damage to wipe their board completely here. And all we have to deal with is whatever's on bench. Ah, Cthulhu. Okay. So this might be a little bit of a close one depending on how we want to do this. Going to use Holy Nova, attack with Yrel, and then also use Volen's first ability. I think we should just win the speed tie no matter what here. That heals up a little bit. Not going to be enough to actually hit out of Cthulhu's range, so they're going to get a tentacle anyways. Okay, now if we're careful, we should be able to actually either tie this up or win the game. Hit there, that. We're going to go for the Anduin, and then we're going to use Holy Nova. Actually, no, Penance is technically quicker, and I think that guarantees us lethal. And it does. Okay, time for a game where there's mainly casters. Let's see what it is. Okay, that is a different type of build. A neat little idea. It's another Cho scaling build. I don't actually know what we should focus down here. I think Elise is probably the best bet. Because Cho technically needs minions to make it useful. Now let's go with Elise first. Okay, they're going to summon some ads, use patience, buff everything up. That might get a little bit annoying. I think just keep on focusing Elise down is probably the optimal play here. I'm going to put a bleed on everything, then we can Divine Assault. Okay, so the bleed goes on everything. We're going to summon a 20/20 ad, which becomes a 24/29, which is a bit frustrating. Can we actually eat through all these ads? I don't think we can. I'm going to straight flex in again, then use a root on everything. Everything's going to get buffed up. Oh shit, that is one big Kazakis. Well, we're going to need to be using That's My Treasure, probably. Actually, no, we don't necessarily need That My Treasure. We can just force Elise to hit Reno, and then we can also put a Divine Shield on Reno, and then focus down Elise. Because if we can get Elise dead before we can get our own Elise dead and we can get a golden monkey, we should win the game. Okay, they're on the same step as us. The Divine Shield protects us from them stealing Reno for a turn. Reno does die. Then we're stuck with Elise, and then we can Velen and Anduin. I think the proper play was probably to... no. Going for this instead of the weird, wacky 1000 damage combo is probably better, just because we have to deal with 6 mercenaries instead of 3. Because we should be able to Velen's Blessing, Golden Monkey, and Holy Nova to nuke everything off of the board. That is still one very, very scary Kazakis. Cool idea, though. I actually ran into quite a few cool ideas while playtesting this build. Okay, they're going to heal up. That does literally nothing, and they skip out on their golden monkey. Gonna have our golden monkey to nuke the board. And now we just start nuking each individual mercenary that they put down. Let's see what their remaining 3 are, though. Okay, so Yuan. Huh. Ajar makes sense, but why the other one? Oh shit, they're going to be actually able to steal our golden monkey. Or at least get rid of it instantly. That's going to be a little bit sad. Hopefully we can actually get 1 hit out of it, though. Maybe? No, we lost the speed tie. Well, this is fine, I guess. Still do have Yrel on the bench. Then we can just use our stereotypical combo, put a bleed on everything here, and then we should be able to at least kill 1 out of the 2 mercenaries, or 3 mercenaries. Okay, there's the bleed. And then we're gonna AoE. I think this should kill the green Naga, and then only really have a Jara to deal with. And we should just win the game right here. Gonna heal. Should kill everything here. Or get very close to it. And then we do win. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the build. Overall, this build was incredibly fun to play and actually incredibly good. It shocked me at how well it actually could put out damage, and it was a pleasant surprise to see Yrel is actually buffed up to a point where she is actually playable. However, this build does have a clear weakness, which is to Frost. A little bit of a struggle, mainly due to the fact that Localar exists and all your key mercenaries in this team are fighters, thus being a clear weakness for this build. However, if you get really lucky with what actually is hit by Localar, or if they decide to use Avalanche instead of his Hailstorm ability, then you can actually win that matchup too. It really just depends on what the player actually does when you're facing them, but outside of that, none of the other builds felt that unwinnable with this build. There's so much damage output that you can actually have in this build due to the fact that you have Elise, Yrel, Velen, and Anduin all as ways to scale up your damage, and it was really fun to play, so it is easily a recommendation that I can make to you all. Especially if you've been wanting to use Yrel and all the holy synergy within Hearthstone Mercenaries for quite a while. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.